Some more news coming in from the Supreme Court at this point in time, and we'd like to bring you in on that as well. The Supreme Court has in fact pulled up the centre and the state pollution boards for not taking any action against the 17 most polluting industries. All these industries are running on the banks of the river despite the Supreme Court bar. The Supreme Court was scathing against the Pollution Control Board, terming its action as failure and frustration and disaster. Next hearing is on the 10th of December. Jaskirat, strong words there by the Supreme Court. Take us through the latest.
Very interestingly, this is a very crucial hearing going on in the Ganga cleaning case. However, very important to understand, this is not a new case. It actually dates back more than a decade or two. The Supreme Court had in the last hearing asked the government about the steps taken, and the Solicitor General in the hearing itself said that it is true that there are many state and national level units which are corrupt, taking bribes and allowing polluting units to go ahead scot-free with pollution of Ganga. The Supreme Court took exception to that and has referred any matter relating to the industrial units in the river basin of Ganga to the National Green Tribunal, and they have sought a report from the National Green Tribunal in 6 months. A very important quote which is indicating of the fact of the mood of the Supreme Court on this issue is when the bench observed yours, which is to the center, yours is a story of complete failure, frustration and disaster.
Right,
very crucial, very
apart
critical.
From the strong words that the Supreme Court has in fact used, all these industries running on the banks of the river, they are in fact running despite a Supreme Court bar that could perhaps invite further prosecution against these industries.
Prosecution or perhaps penalization by the concerned authorities, which is in any case is the most appropriate action to be taken.
Right.
And since that hasn't been taken, that will happen. The penalization will happen, not necessarily just a prosecution. The Supreme Court over here, the observation on the hearing itself is very crucial, considering that the current government has set up an entire ministry dedicated to the rejuvenation of the Ganga River, which is something that the Solicitor General has been trying to re-emphasize in the court. But it seems like this bench of the Supreme Court, which is hearing the matter, is clearly not impressed with the steps taken by the government so far.
Absolutely. The Supreme Court not at all impressed by the steps taken by the centre and the state pollution boards for not taking any action against the 17 most polluting industries. The Supreme Court has in fact expressed that the Pollution Control Board's actions is a failure, a frustration and a disaster. Thanks, Jaskirat, for joining us with that update. We're going to continue to track developments on this story very closely.